मुच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः।
श्री कृष्णाय नमः। श्री गोपीजन वल्लभाय नमः। श्रीमद आचार्य चरण कमलेभ्यो नमः। श्री गुसाईं परम दयालवे नमः। श्री गुरवे नमः। चिंता संतान हंतारो यत्पादाम्बुजरेणवः स्वीयानां तान्निजाचार्यान् प्रणमामि मुहुर्मुहुः। यदनुग्रहतो जन्तुः सर्वदुःखातिगो भवेत् तमहं सर्वदा वन्दे श्रीमद्वल्लभनन्दनम्। अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। नमामि हृदये शेषे लीलाक्षराब्धिशायिनं लक्ष्मीसहस्रलीलाभि सेव्यमानं कलानिधिं चतुर्भिश्च 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 त्रिभिस्तथा षड्भिर्विराजते योऽसौ पंचधा हृदये मम। प्रभुर्नंदकुमारो मे स्वामिनी वृषभानुजा कृतार्थोऽहं 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 न संशयः। नमो भगवते तस्मै कृष्णायाद्भूतकर्मणे रूपनाम विभेदेन जगत्क्रीडति यो यतः। नमो भगवते तुभ्यं वासुदेवाय वेधसे प्रद्युम्नाय निरुद्धाय नमः संकर्षणाय च। कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय हरये परमात्मने प्रणतक्लेशनाशाय गोविंदाय नमो नमः। पुष्टिमार्य सर्वज्ञः करुणारसपूरितः श्रेष्ठफलप्रदाता च तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। Welcome back to the series of life solutions in 2021 A Vedic Lifestyle. I am Aditya, one of your speakers, and it has been a massive journey, and we are now moving towards a small pause in that journey. Why am I mentioning about the pause? Because if I'm not wrong, today is going to be our last session. Does that mean it's an end? It's an end towards this entire learning process. If you ask me, it's never the end in life. If something is ending, something else is beginning. And remember one thing, the Vani of Lord is never gonna stop. This is that one river which is continuously flow in your life forever and ever. So even if life solutions in Vedic 2021 gets a pause, that doesn't mean your wisdom is going to stop. Personally, me, you can follow me on my Instagram handle. You can follow me on my YouTube channel. You can follow me on my Facebook by the same name, Aditya Shastri. You will find me everywhere. And if you want to listen to other speakers, Prempuri Ashram has been kind enough, depending on your situation, depending on your need, depending on your interest, depending on the language, Gujarati, English, Hindi, all three languages have been covered under multiple channels. As it claims to be, it's covered under multiple channels. Prempuri Ashram has created multiple resources for people to get some more inspiration, to get some more guidance, to lead a better lifestyle. What is the ideal benefit for us if we follow a Vedic lifestyle? So first of all, in order to live a Vedic lifestyle, there are certain things that are essential. First thing, you need to be a part of a sampradaya. Sampradaya refers to a group of people who have similar set of beliefs. Second thing, that sampradaya needs to have a parampara. preferably from the origins of all the gods and goddesses. There are other sampradayas as well who don't have any origins from gods and goddesses. I'm not saying they are not good. All I'm trying to say is the source should always be the Vedas. It shouldn't be a pseudo Buddhism or a pseudo other form of religion being promoted to you. Next situation, it needs to have an acharya. Someone who has propounded that philosophy, someone who has started that cult. And last but not the least, the sampradaya needs to have an acharya who has founded that sampradaya. The definition of acharya is tricky. It's not just a small degree or a master's degree that has been given to other people, right? It has some more value addition in comparison to anything else. Moving forward, it needs to have a diksha. That means it needs to have an initiation process. How to get initiated in that particular segment. The next, it needs to have a diksha mantra. Diksha mantra refers to an initiation mantra. A mantra that confirms a spiritual bond between us and the source. After that, the initiation mantra has to be given to someone. That means there has to be a diksha patigrahata. That means someone who is going to do the pratigrahan, or someone who is going to accept that diksha. That is us. Similarly, there has to be someone who is going to give you that diksha. That refers to diksha data. That means someone who is going to give you that diksha, someone who is going to give you that initiation. The diksha data eventually becomes your guru. Enough has been said about guru in our previous sessions and in the scriptures as well. This guru is your guiding force. This guru is your spiritual force. This guru is your mentor or your someone who's going to guide you when you have questions. In the absence of guru, the scriptures written by guru are equivalent to his place, or the learnings given by guru are in that space. If not, then Krishnam Vande Jagat Guru. Lord Krishna is always our guru, but we need to consider him as one. Moving ahead, there are 4 things that takes place in a sampradaya. First is the Tattva Upadesh, the fundamental element of philosophy of any cult or any community. What do they believe in? The next is the Phala Updesha. What is someone going to get in return? Prior to that comes the Siddhanta Updesh. What are the principles that one need to follow or implement? Post that comes the Vyavhar Updesh. How do you behave? How do you live? How do you practice? How do you preach? And last is the Phala Updesh. What is someone going to get in return? In our previous sessions, I've already spoken about Vishayanand, Brahmanand, and Bhajananand. And since I come from a school of thought of Vallabhacharya, Vallabh Vedanta, and Vallabh philosophy, this concept is slightly dear to my heart. And since it is dear to my heart, I'm going to explain it once again for one last time so that we all get some clarity as to what this is all about. There is a difference. So, firstly, according to Mahaprabhu Sri Vallabhacharya, there are two things that are fundamental in any human's life: Dukha Nivrutti and Sukha Prapti. Distancing ourselves or getting rid of sorrow, and Sukha Prapti refers to experiencing happiness. If you're walking if you're walking in a scorching sun, under the scorching sun, and it's too hot, you are sweating like anything, and you come below a tree and it gives you shadow, it gives you shelter, it gives you cool breeze. You are rid of your agony. You are rid from that experience of too much heat. You are out of that zone where you were facing the scorching sun. This is Dukha Nivrutti. Over and above, if someone gives you water and you find a juicy mango over there, you will be extremely delighted. This is Sukha Prapti. Some acts are done so that we don't face the sorrow, and some acts are done so that we feel happy. For example, we work so that we don't become poor. That's Dukha Nivrutti. And the money that we have, we go to vacations from that. And that is Sukha Prapti. But let me tell you one thing. This has a limitation. Please don't consider happiness is equal to bliss. Happiness is not is equal to bliss. And this is the fundamental understanding that we need to gather, that bliss is beyond happiness. Happiness is a very small part of bliss. Bliss, Anand. I'll quote this example once again. Since we are in the season of mangoes, and now even cherries have started. So if someone gives you one mango or 10 cherries, you'll feel good. If someone gives you 2 or 20, you'll feel great. If someone gives you 3 or 30, you may feel a little nice. But if someone gives you 4 or 40, then your happiness is going to decline. It's similar to someone gave you one iPhone, second iPhone, third iPhone, and fourth iPhone. That iPhone's excitement will stay for some time in the first iPhone. As soon as the second iPhone comes, you won't be excited anymore for the previous iPhone, and you'll be excited about the new iPhone. Sorry, I just have 2 of them over here right now. But as soon as you get the newest version of iPhone, you won't be excited for the previous iPhone altogether. And this has no stability. This form of Ananda has no stability. This form of Ananda is extremely changing. depending on our experiences, depending on our moods, depending on various factors. This is called Vishayananda. Similarly, the recent wave of meditation and rhythmic breathing has increased in the current era. I'm really happy that something of Indian origin is getting global recognition. So when all these yogi purusha, when they start their penance or when they start meditating, they start concentrating on the shunya or the purna or the source of this universe in certain or in uncertain languages. They say that it doesn't have a form, and they start meditating upon the source. And while they are meditating upon the source, they feel some bliss. They feel some kind of a sensation which is beyond imagination or which is beyond human description. And this is called Brahma Ananda, because Brahmasya Ananda, it refers to the experience of bliss because of Brahma or of Brahma. Brahmanu અનુભવ થઈને આનંદ થવું. So we are getting that ananda from the Brahma, the source of the universe. And let me tell you one thing about it. Again, that kind of an ananda is also limited. It can be measured. On the contrary, when a devotee is offering water to his master, when a sevak is offering some homemade food to his savior, when a Prahlad is trying to extol a Narsimha, or when Gopijans are begging to seek Shri Krishna's darshan, this is the stage and tenure where you start experiencing Bhajan Ananda. And Bhajan Ananda is far more experiential than Brahmananda. The sensation and the experience of bliss is beyond. And all of this is not propounded by me. There are calculations of Anand given in the scriptures, pretty much in the scriptures. Having said all of these, we need to keep certain things in mind. Our original Swarupa or our original form was Satchit Ananda. Even Lord's form is Satchitan Ananda. Even our form is Satchitan Ananda. However, the difference of Lord and soul is Lord has Sat, that's truth. Lord has Chit, that's conscience. And Lord has Ananda, that's bliss. However, we as souls, we have Sat. We know this is true. We know Chit, we have Chit. That means we know this is conscience. We are aware, we are alive, we can touch, we can feel. But we are deprived of that Ananda. That Anand has been hidden or it has been disabled. And that Ananda needs to be enabled. It's like it's in us, but we need to grow it. It's pretty much in us with us, but we need to grow it. And since we need to grow it, this is what we need to take care of. This is what we need to worry about. This is what we need to keep in mind. And this is the entire philosophy that we as Vaishnava, we as Pushtimargya Vaishnavas follow. And hence, today I'll be talking about the fruit. Since it is the last session, I'll be talking about the fruit. Moksha is one part of the fruit. Getting liberate. See, there are multiple forms of fruit. First is Swarga, wherein you want to experience a great afterlife because of the punyas that you have done. Similarly, there is Narka as well. That means if you have done bad, you'll go through the Narka. Second is the Moksha, wherein you want to be liberated of the life cycle. You want to be out of this entire birth and death ka cycle. And hence you want salvation. And the third is experiencing that very fruit, experiencing that Supreme Lord, experiencing that supreme authority for various reasons and through various experiences. And that's why Vaishnavas sing Vraja Valu Re Vaikuntha Naire Avu Tya Kana Kuvar Kyanthi Lavu. The king of Vraj is in Vraj. He is not in Vaikuntha. I don't want Vaikuntha. I don't want Moksha. I want to be with my Lord. And that's why even if I get repeated cycles, I want to be the Bhakta. Naam vasami Vaikunthe yoginam hridayena cha mad bhakta yatra gayanti tatra tishtami narada. I don't reside, I've already said this before, I don't reside in the hearts of yogis. I don't reside in the Vaikuntha. Where my bhaktas are singing for me, that's the place where I reside. Mad bhakta yatra gayanti tatra tishtami narada. That's where I reside, where my devotees sing for me, extol me, think of me. Now I just have one question. Is our heart such an amazing place for the Lord to reside? We recite Namami Hrudaye Sheshe. Hrudaye Sheshe Leela Kshirabdishayinam. The Lord that's residing in my heart is residing on the Sheshnag, who is being served by Lakshmi. Thousands of Lakshmi. Lakshmi Sahasra Leela bhi. Sevyamanam Kalanidhi. Kala ke Nidhi Bhagavan Shri Krishna is residing in our heart. And we are extolling him. Isn't this beautiful? But I have a question. Do we have a clear man, buddhi, chit, ahankar? That's mind. Buddhi refers to intellect. Chit refers to concentration or conscience. And antakaran refers to our inner self. Man, buddhi, chit, ahankar. Ahankar refers to our inner ego. This is called antakaran chatushta. Is our antakaran so clean? Is our inner cause so clean? Chit also refers to memory, by the way. Here the meaning of chitta refers to, here it is chitta instead of chitta. Satchitta. And this is chitta. Chitta refers to memory. Kindly I apologize for this small error. But I hope you got the plot. It's your buddhi, intellect, mind, manas, your chitta, your memory, and your ahankar, your ego, your atman, yourself. Do you think they are clean enough? And if they are not clean enough, we need to make them clean enough. And that can only happen through abhyasena tu kaunteya. It's only when we practice and sacrifice is when we can achieve that situation. While we are trying to achieve this situation, since we are talking about the fruit, there are lots of sampradayas that offer best of practices for the union with the Almighty. However, margoyam sarva marganam uttamah parikirtitah. And then somewhere Sri Mahaprabhuji is saying, Yasmin pata bhayam nasti. That means there is no fear of falling over here. Now, the fear of not being able to do things, the fear of not being able to be a good human being, the fear of not being able to do well in life, the fear of missing out on things, the fear of not acknowledging our current situations and living in a denial. All these fears need to pause, need to stop. There has to be an end for this, with the simple reason that until when will we live in fear and stop our spiritual growth? Since childhood, either we have been fearing our mother's taunts, our father's hands, our grandmother's or grandfather's ignorance, we can't fight against our friends because of the reason that they'll go away from us. We cannot tell them anything because they feel that we are too defensive or they are too defensive, because we love them so much that we tolerate all their toxicity. We cannot rebel against our boss thinking that what if he fires me? We cannot start something of our own because we fear that our basic necessities will never be taken care of. Something that never interested us in school all of a sudden comes in our life and takes up the maximum time. Something that we didn't like in school, we fear that we'll never like it again. All these kinds of fears are too materialistic in nature. When will we come out of this and actually have a life? Yesterday itself, I spoke about two different set of people. One set of people who feared being poor, and other people who also feared being poor. The major difference between both these parties was one feared of being poor by giving to other people, and other people feared that if I become poor, I will not be able to help other people. And about fear, we have already spoken during the Bhagavad Gita session. Now, I just have a question. Until when we want our mind, yam yam chintayase kamam tam tam prapnoti nishchitam. That is what is being propounded in our scriptures. Something, if we desire and if we work towards it, we'll definitely achieve it. But for that, we need to work towards it. It's similar to, you can't do a manorath. You have to do the udyam. Udyamena siddhyanti karyani na tu manorathehi. Nahi suptasya simhasya mukhe pravishanti khagaha. So even the lion does hard work, or lioness does the hard work of killing the animal and feeding herself or himself. It's not like an animal is entering his mouth directly every now and then. So that's not the situation. Now, when we know the alternative is to only face it and to be fearless, then what's stopping us? Because our chitta, our memory, and our mind has too many complexities in it, it will never allow you to think in the best possible way. Your buddhi is saying take the chance, or sometimes your mind is saying take the chance, but your buddhi is saying no, don't take a chance. And this is the time where complete surrender comes into the picture. Now, for all those people who belong to the Maryada Marga, who are not from Pushti Marg, and you worship various gods and goddesses, Lord is saying, Sarva Dharman Parityajya Mamekam Sharanam Raja Aham Tvam Sarva Papebhyo. This is what the Lord is saying. Mokshayishyami Mashuta. Now, we all may wonder, what is this verse all about? All the varieties of dharma, abandon them and simply surrender unto me alone. I shall liberate you from all sinful reactions. Do not fear. Shri Krishna has been talking to Arjun to do two things simultaneously: engage with his mind in devotion and engage his body in fulfilling his duty as a warrior. Hence, he wanted Arjun to not give up his Kshatriya dharma, but to add devotion alongside. This is the principle. Here, Krishna reverses his teaching by saying that there is no need to fulfill material dharma. Arjun can renounce all material duties and simply surrender to God. Now, one may question, if we give up all our material dharma, will we not incur sin? Krishna is saying not to fear. He will absolve all sins and remove them or liberate him from the material existence. Over here, responsibilities, duties, thoughts, and actions that are appropriate for us has been mentioned. There are two types of dharma: material and spiritual, based on two different understandings of ourselves. And that is why we say there is a Deha dharma and there is an Atma dharma. Deha dharma is all our materialistic dharma, and Atma dharma is all our spiritual dharma. There are various types of dharma: Samanya dharma, Vishesh dharma, Varnashrama dharma, Deha dharma, and Atma dharma. Here, Deha dharma and Atma dharma has been mentioned. So, when we identify ourselves as the body, then our dharma is determined in accordance with our bodily designations, obligations, duties, morals, norms, etc. So, serving the bodily parents, fulfilling the responsibilities towards society, nations, are all Deha dharma. It is also called as Apara dharma, or the material dharma. This includes the dharma as Brahmin, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra. However, when we identify ourselves as non-material designations of Varna, all the souls, father, mother, friend, beloved, are all considered to be God. Hence, our dharma becomes to have devotional service to God. This is called Paradharma or spiritual dharma. Srimad Bhagavatam also states something like this. Devarshi, it comes in Ekadashi Skanda, 5th chapter, 41 verse. Devarshi bhutapta nrunam pitrunam na kinkaro nayam runi nicharajan sarvatmana yah sharanam sharanyam gato mukundam parirutya kartam. Deva refers to the gods. Sages refers to Rishi. Bhuta refers to living identities. Apta refers to relatives and friends. Nrunam refers to ordinary men. Pitrunam refers to forefathers. Kinkarha refers to servant. Ayam refers to this one. Cha refers to also. Runi refers to debtor. Now over here, O king, one who has given up all materialistic duties and has taken full shelter of the lotus feet of Mukunda, who offers shelters to all, is not indebted to gods, great sages, ordinary living beings, relatives, friends, mankind, or even forefathers who have passed away. Since all such classes of living entities are part and parcel of Supreme Lord, one who has surrendered to Lord's service has no need to serve such people separately. A lot of people may not feel comfortable in this. However, the verse is explaining those who do not surrender to God, they have 5 debts: the gods, the sages, the ancestors, the other human beings, and the other living identities. Now, since you haven't surrendered, you have to rightfully perform your duty for all these 5 people. However, if the ultimate goal is to engage and wholeheartedly get involved in the spiritual dharma, then Lord has been kind enough to say something like this: Ajnana yaivam gunana doshan maya dishtan api swakan dharman santyajya yah sarvan mam bhajet sa tu sattamaha. We need to also consider the verses above and prior to it. So once we are trying to study verse number 32, we also need to consider 11th Skand, 11th Adhyay, verses 29 to 32 altogether, where Bhagavan is saying, Krupalur krutadrohasti tikshuhu sarvadehinam. From this verse to the verse that I said earlier, Lord is trying to have a conversation with Uddhav. Saintly person is merciful and never injures others. Even if others are aggressive, he is tolerant and forgiving towards all identities. His strength and meaning in life come from the truth itself. He's completely free from all these kind of envy and jealousy. Moreover, his mind is equal in material happiness and in distress. He dedicates his time to work for welfare of others. Paropkarartham idam shariram. His intelligence is never bewildered by materialistic desires. He has controlled his senses. His behavior is always pleasing, never harsh, and always exemplary. He's free from possessiveness. That means he's free from raga. He never endeavors in ordinary worldly activities. He strictly controls his eating. He therefore always remains peaceful and steady. A saintly person is thoughtful, accepts me as his only shelter. Such a person is very cautious in the execution of his duties and is never subject to any superficial transformation as such. Because he is steady and noble, even in distressing situation. He has conquered all the 6 qualities like hunger, thirst, lamentation, illusion, old age, and death. Conquered in the sense of he's not fearing any of these. He's free from all the desires of prestige and offers honors to others. He's expert in reviving the focus on Shri Krishna and therefore never cheats anyone. He's a well-wishing friend to all, being most merciful. Such a saintly person must be considered the most learned of men. He perfectly understands the ordinary religious duties prescribed by me in various Vedic scriptures that possess favorable qualities that purify the performer, and he knows the neglect of such duties constitutes a discrepancy in one's life. Having taken complete shelter at my feet, however, a saintly person ultimately renounces such ordinary religious duties and worships me alone. He is thus considered to be the best among all living identities. Now, there are a list of 28 things that someone needs to do in order to achieve that situation. So don't be a casual person that, you know what, just because I surrendered once. No, that surrender needs to be reconciling every day. It's only when we completely surrender again and again and again and again and again, and we get the assurance, is the time when we can actually achieve Sarva Dharman Parityajya Mamekam Sharanam Vraja. However, for all the Pushti Jeeves, for all the souls of Pushti Marg, this is something that you need to be aware of. This is something that you need to consider. On the other side, we confirm with Lord by saying, Tasmat, we say, Krishna Krishna Mahabhaga, Tvannatham Gokulam Prabhu, Tratum Arhasi Devanah Kupitat Bhaktavatsalaha, and Lord in return says, Tasmat Macharanam Goshtham, Mannatham Mat Parigraham. Gopaye Swatma Yogena Soyam Me Vratahitaha. This is a situation that comes in the segment of Govardhan Leela, where Krishna Krishna Mahabhaga Tvannatham Gokulam Prabhu, Ratum Arhasi Devanah Kupitat Bhaktavatsala is being recited by all the Gopijans, saying, O most fortunate one, please deliver the cows from the wrath of Indra. O Lord, you are affectionate to your devotees. Please save us. You are Bhaktavatsal. Right? Kindly save us from that Devanah. And to which the Lord is returning with an answer. Shukdevji has recited these verses in such a beautiful manner. I would feel my entire life could recite these verses every now and then. And the Lord says in return, Tatsman Matsharanam Goshtham Mannatham Matparigraham Gopaye Swatma Yogena Soyam Mevratahitaha. I must therefore protect the cowherd. I must therefore protect the Gopijans by my transcendental potency. I am their shelter, I am their master, and indeed they are my own family. After all, I have taken a vow to protect my devotees. This, right now as well, it's giving me certain form of sensation. This is the assurance that Lord has given to us. Lord has saved Gajendra, Lord has saved Prahlad, Lord has done Uddhar of Dhruva, Lord has blessed Bali, Lord has taken care of Arjuna, Uddhav, Sudama, Gopijan, Nanda Yashoda, other devatas. So many times Lord Krishna has showered so much mercy, till that extent that even Putana was liberated by Lord. If you go and see, even Putana was liberated by Lord. And that's the beauty of it. If someone who's coming to kill is also being liberated, what could be anything more than that in life? So if you're a Pushti Margiya Jeev, this is the form of complete surrender. And over here, Lord is actually talking about protection out of love. And on the other side, over there, Lord is trying to say, I will get you rid of all your sins. And hence, today's session, I'm talking about the fruit. The fruit is Bhagavan eva hi phalam. The Lord himself is the fruit. Asmakam sadhanam sadhyam Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama. Our root and our fruit is Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama. Ekam Shastram Devaki Putra Ekam. Eko Devo Devaki Putra Eva. Mantropyekam Tasya Namani Yani. Mantropyekam Tasya Namani Yani. Or there is only one mantra, that is his name. And Karma Pyekam Tasya Devasya Seva. So this is what Pushti Marg is all about. The original Acharya is Rudra. From Rudra goes to Adav Shri Purushottamam Puraharam. It's Purushottam. From Purushottam it goes to Rudra. From Puraharam goes to Naradakyam Munim, Naradji. Naradji goes to Vyas Maharshi goes to Shukdevji then passes it forward to other his disciples, and eventually there is Vishnu Swami, there is Vilvamangal, and there is Vallabhacharya. Vallabhacharya is the benefactor, the profounder, the founder of Pushti Marg, propounding the Vedic principles in a way so that they can be applicable in Pushti Marg by itself. And hence he is called as Vedaparga. The Tattvopadesh is Krishnat Param Nasti Daivam. There is no God beyond Bhagavan Shri Krishna. Bhagavan eva hi phalam. Lord himself is the fruit. Ete chancha kalaha puncha Krishnastu Bhagavan Swayam. Bhagavad Gita's philosophy. The Siddhantopadesha is Krishna Seva Sada Karya. Manasi Sa Paramata. Doing the service of Lord is the prima facie the focus of any Pushti Margiya Vaishnava. The next thing, the Vyavhar Upadesha. Then there is Satsang, leaving Dussang, quitting Asamarpit, taking only Samarpit, speaking, avoiding unnecessary conversations through Asadalap, and Shastram Avagatya, Manovag Dehaihi Shri Krishna Sevyaha. Know your scriptures, build your consciousness for Krishna, and eventually serve him through your mind, body, and your speech. Manovag Dehaihi. Mind, speech, and body. And what's the phala? There is a asur called as Vrutrasur. And Vrutrasur says, Aham hare tava padaika mula dasanudaso bhavidasmi bhuyaha. Dasanudaso bhavidasmi bhuyaha. I mean, I'm das ka das ka das. If an asur is saying something like this, who are we to say that I'm your das? But yet, we as Vaishnavas say that we are your das, we are your sevak, we are your servant. Because that sensation or that feelings brings humility in someone. And while all these things are happening around, one of the most important factors that we need to keep in mind is Dharmortho Harirevahi Kamo Harididrukshaiva. Our dharma, our artha, our kama, and our moksha. Everything is Bhagavan Shri Krishna. Pushti Marge Harer Dasyam. Dharmortho Harirevahi Kamo Harididrukshaiva. This is the verse propounded by Sri Mahaprabhuji. My dharma is Bhagavan Shri Krishna's seva. My artha, my biggest wealth is Hari himself. What do I desire? Lord himself. Kamo Hari Didrukshayo. Moksha, Lord. This is the phala. There is nothing beyond bliss. And in my opinion, there is nothing blissful than Krishna. कृषिभूर्वाचक शब्द नष्ण नश्च णश्च निवृत्तिर्वाचक कर्षयति आकर्षयति इति कृष्णः. The one who can attract is Krishna. The one who carries the aganit or the uncountable form of bliss is Krishna. The one Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat. That's what the verse that recites at the beginning of Prempuri Ashram Trust's video. The Upanishad Vakya. Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. It's complete. And that Purna Ananda is nothing but Krishna Chandra. That Ananta Koti Nayak, the whole and soul creator of the universe, who himself propounded as Hari or Vishnu. From Vishnu came Brahma, from Brahma came Rudra. The trinity of the entire universe was created something like this. The Sattva, Raja, Tama Gun all came into the existence. And that Nirgun source of Bhagavan Shri Krishna is playing across by various forms of name, by various forms of forms. And he is taking multiple forms every now and then. Yada yada hi dharmasya glanir bhavati bharata abhyutthanam dharmasya tadatmanam sujamyaham paritranaya sadhunam vinashaya cha duskritam dharma samsthapanarthaya sambhavami yuge yuge is the biggest assurance of life that Lord will always come again and again and again and again and again and safeguard this dharma and eventually take care of us devotees. And this is one of our fruits. I hope this would have made it easy for all of you to understand the Vedic lifestyle. The Vedas also extol Lord, and after a point of time, even they don't have any words, and that's why they say neti neti na iti na iti. And when the Vedas are saying na iti, it refers to even beyond this, not just this much, beyond this, beyond this. And this is the heritage and culture that we come from. Now, I just have one question to all of you. Do we really want to sacrifice the heritage, the culture, the literature, the language, the philosophy, the thought process, the practices, the rituals, the spirituality that we have towards someone who is actually spending money, time, and efforts in understanding what we are doing? The ball is in your court. I would love to know your thoughts. I am extremely delighted and thankful. I'm a little slow and a little, self-motivated person. Hence, I have a time slot of doing certain things my own way. I would like to apologize to Mr. Dubeji, who is the caretaker of this entire YouTube channel for Prempuri Ashram. He had to follow up multiple times just to get my videos. I'm really sorry. Life has been quite time testing in these days, and Lord Krishna is testing me. I hope I pass his test and I can be a better person. So Dubeji, thank you so much for this entire technical support that you have provided. Girish Bhai Dresswala, who has a phenomenal name, not just in the physical or the materialistic industry, but even the segment of religion and spirituality. He is highly connected with so many personalities that out of having so many personalities who are so formidable in names, he actually chose me to start one of the topics in English. And I think this has been a biggest blessing in disguise for me, because I was planning to do this since a long period of time. So I am really glad and thankful. Since one of our videos had to be taken down, I am ready to shoot one more and provide it to us, because it's happening for the mankind. Just let me know if it is needed. I'm thankful and indebted to you for having that little faith in me, for having that trust in me, for considering me to be the best fit to start something like this. And I'm deeply honored and I'm humbled by your gesture that you had me for this particular series. I would like to give credit to my friends, a couple of close friends who gave me certain ideas as to what could be covered in these sessions. And I would like to thank all of those people who gave me questions which were covered during the entire Life Solutions in 2021 cycle. Apart from that, I'm indebted to my parents who had to adjust their schedules during my shoots, during this live streaming or the video streaming, managing the cooker, balancing against the timings, and also blessing me and guiding me for the web series that I've done. I'm grateful to Prempuri Ashram for being a wonderful host, who have been hosting my family since ages, and I think 4 generations by this time. My great grandfather, my grandfather, my father, and now my time came. That even through virtual ways, I'm feeling that I am in Prempuri Ashram itself with the backdrop and everything. And I'm being able to continue with my message to the masses. It doesn't matter how many people listen to this. Even if one person's life is changing, I think Prempuri Ashram has done a phenomenal job. So I'm grateful to Prempuri Ashram. With that, in this entire web series, if you couldn't understand something or you didn't like anything, I'll be more than happy to address it and to discuss with it, because I'm a soul, I can make mistakes. Kindly forgive me for my mistakes and guide me if I'm going in a wrong direction. Having said that, if you like the channel, if you like the video, you'll subscribe to the video. If you'll subscribe to the channel, that will be a great gesture. Thank you so much. मैं कोई गुजरा हुआ वक्त नहीं कि वापस आ न सकूं, जब चाहे तब बुला लेना. By saying that, I surrender myself to the divine lotus feet of Lord Shri Krishna and rest my session over here. Shubham bhavatu. Krishna arpanamastu.